Cool. All right, Susan, I'm sending you that link now. Wait a second for her to get that posted. I'm unprecedented.
Okay.
All right, we're posted. Cool. Coming to you live from Conroe, Texas, it's Reality Rules, Survivor Reelfoot, Episode 3, Season 2, Episode 3, Exit Interview with Andrew Gibson and producer Mama S. What's going on, guys? Here we are coming tonight as we just finished the Episode 3 of Season 2 of Survivor Reelfoot, and we are joined with our newest evicted, voted out, however you want to say it, cast off, Nathan. Nathan, how are you tonight?
Doing okay.
All right, let's start this off. Introduce yourself. Who is Nathan outside of Reelfoot? We saw this fun-loving, goofy, crazy, redhead ginger in the episode, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
To be honest, the only real difference is I'm normally not as physically active in the outside world. That's the main difference between me and the game. But yeah, I think I pretty much played the way I live normally.
And so how is that? How do you live normally? Just making people laugh, chilling out, having a good time?
That's the basic framework.
So a day in the life of Nathan is pretty much inside, like watching TV, playing on the computer.
Exactly, yeah,
Hey,
basically.
That's okay. I'm an order. I pretty much live the same way. So, okay, let's dive into this a little bit. I got some questions kind of prepped out for you, some things that I want to know. To me, your opening strategy of this game was just to kind of be there. For episode 1, I'm going to be here. I want to make people laugh. I want to make people like me, and if people like me, they'll want to keep me around. They're not going to want to vote me out. So I'm just here. Hi, I'm Nathan, and that's kind of your strategy. But today, that kind of changed. You kind of played the game a little bit. You talked to Michael. You told him some information. You began to reveal in these things about Michael. So at what point in the game do you think you evolved by this third episode and said, okay, I can't just be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. I actually have to play this game?
Well, at some point, I needed to be more under the radar at the beginning because I'm obviously weaker, so I can't just like come in and be the big alpha guy. But in order to have any kind of longevity, I did need to make like stronger alliances or whatever, and it worked out great.
So let's talk about that. And again, I know you know a little bit more that's happened. Don't reveal anything past what's happened today. Hashtag no spoilers. But you go back to that big alpha guy. It seemed in your tribe you had 2 big alpha guys. Was that, up to the point we've seen so far, really a big rivalry between Daniel and Michael? I mean, was that a big power struggle as we're seeing it? Was this really a who's the bigger alpha?
Yeah, you did notice the power struggle there. They were both very closely aligned for a big portion of it, but at some point they started to notice, like, yeah, we need to get each other out.
So today's challenge, y'all had a huge lead. I mean, you needed 1 point, and they needed like 4. What happened? Why did that momentum lose? Why eventually did y'all begin to lose points here? What happened to screw that over?
Well, part of it is that like just some of these matchups we're never going to win. Like me versus Trevor, it's like me versus a Mack truck. Like I'm not going to knock him off. And you could say that about several other matchups. A lot of it's luck. We got lucky in several matches. So
Were the matchups random?
yes, they were random.
So do you think that this was they had an overall stronger tribe than you, or do you think this was just the luck of the draw made the matchups not work how we wanted them to?
In terms of like just pure who's stronger, like muscular, I do feel like they have the stronger tribe, but if it comes to ladder ball, we will cream them every day of the week.
Y'all rocked at the ladder ball and the slider puzzle. Me and Susan were watching last week, and we were like, "Why can't we do the slider puzzle?" Because we love slider puzzles. And Stacy, she did okay, but we expected better from Stacy. Me and Susan would have had that slider puzzle done in about 10
Yeah,
seconds.
she's an ogre. She should know how to do that much faster than she did.
She should do the slider puzzle. But no, the ladder ball you killed, which to me is more of a luck type of skill type of game. And then you're saying the physical game you lost because of the luck of the matchups. So it's funny how all that works out. Okay, so my next question is, let's get into this. Why do you choose to align with everybody that's there? Everybody that's in this game, why do you choose to align with Michael? Like tonight, I feel you were voted out more of a guilty by association. Like they didn't want to vote Michael because he's stronger for the tribe, but they wanted to take out one of Michael's like second or third in command, right? So you were taken out to basically weaken Michael. It wasn't so much a let's vote Nathan, it's a let vote Michael without voting Michael. So why do you choose to align with Michael?
Just from the very beginning, we hit it off pretty well, and on top of that, like there's just such a big age gap and like a different personality-wise. So me and him immediately hit it off, and it was just natural. Some of these people I just don't have that much in common with, and he and I had a little bit more in common.
But see, to me, you and Tristan, you were kind of both the outcasts. You were kind of both the not the mains, and I really was like, man, if these two will just kind of like come together here and say, okay, y'all can be the alpha males, we'll be the underdogs, y'all duke it out, and we'll just kind of sit back and watch. And that didn't happen. Okay, so we only get to see about 30 minutes of, not even that. I mean, by the time it gets to scrambling after the challenge, we see about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes of the scrambling and strategy. Walk me through. I mean, after the challenge, it's Stacy. We're voting Stacy. Stacy's going. We're flushing the idol. What really made that? I mean, yeah, I know she found out about it, but so what? Why not still flush the idol? Why not still do something to that aspect? What made that change happen from Stacy to Tristan to ultimately to you?
Well, there's such a big problem with trust. Like you saw Michael looking through her bag, and that kind of stirred things up quite a bit. And we also knew that Jessica had told Stacy that he had done that, so we weren't quite sure, like no one was sure who they could trust, so splitting a vote was really not on the table. And on top of that,
but not even split the vote, just say the vote's going to be Stacy, and then don't vote Stacy, so Stacy's still uncomfortable enough to, you don't even have to split the vote there, just create the paranoia where the idol comes into play.
Well, that's a good point, but the problem is we all thought that was completely real, and I had also heard my name being floated around by Tristan. So when she plays that idol and I go home, I'm not exactly happy that we voted for her. I'd prefer we just vote for Tristan. Not that I was anyway deciding this.
Right, absolutely. So let's go back. We go to this. You're right. The vote was on Stacy. Michael brings up that Stacy's was brought in the bag. Jessica goes to Stacy and tells Stacy that that Michael knows Stacy has the idol. Daniel's in the mix, throwing people into people's ears. So you have these 5 key power players that are basically in a power struggle. Who's on top? Who's on bottom? Who's the fight? And then you and Tristan are the 2 names that get brought up. You have, I got confused of the disconnect from what happened to these power people targeting each other, and then it's like, okay, never mind, let's just pick off one of the weaklings. No offense that I'm calling you a weakling, but you did.
No, I am. That's fair.
So that was my struggle. I mean, it's like, oh, we're about to make a move. I'm about to get to talk to somebody that was really a power player and got blindsided, and yours was a blindside.
the thing was we were very focused on team strength at the time, and it would be awesome to say like let's vote out Daniel, but if we vote out Daniel, we're dead. Like we're gonna lose every single challenge after that point. I feel like they had the same opinion towards Michael.
So let's go back to the challenge here for a second. I got a question from a viewer. Shout out #Stacy. What do we feel about them sitting out 2 people in a row in the challenge?
It's not great, but what are you gonna do?
Do you think that if those people play, if that happens, do you think it changes the game?
It probably does. But then again, we were so much weaker than them in general that it may not play a factor at all. But for my sake, I'll say it completely changed the game.
So let's go back to that round one more time. I've got plenty of questions. I've probably have the most questions for you from anybody that I've interviewed so far. Go back to that round, knowing what you know now. Everything you do, you go back to that tribal council. Amos looks at you and says, "You have the sole vote to evict." Whose name are you writing down, and who are you sending out?
If I was given that power, I have to go for Daniel. I'm sorry, but So why do you never speak up and say, "Let's go for Daniel"? Why is that move never? You see what the move should have been, but you made no intuition to get it there. Michael and I had talked before about like we wanted to vote out Daniel as soon as we hit the merge, and I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to take him out like ASAP, kind of like Coleman did. But we saw what happened to Coleman when he tried to go for that, so I didn't know if it was a wise idea to really push that.
And you did. You saw the downfall, so I get that. So after Stacy's name got thrown away again, why was Tristan your and Michael's automatic choice for casualty at that point? Why did y'all decide to target Tristan?
At the time, we had an alliance with it was me, Michael, Daniel, Jessica, and Chantel. Those were the 5 people. We are not voting for Stacy, so Tristan was just kind of the person who was off to the side that we could still.
But okay, let's go back to that again. You say that you have this awesome 5-person alliance with Jessica, but Jessica's the one that just took exactly what your alliance was about to do and ran to Stacy. So do you think at that point that you really do have a solid 5-person alliance?
I wasn't sure. I was so paranoid. I was so nervous. And you're completely right. That's what should have crossed our minds. But
hindsight's 20/20.
At that point, I was just like, please, just anyone but me. Just let's vote for someone, and we'll figure this out later.
So now that you got to watch it back and see what happened, what do you think was your major downfall leading up to this tribal council? What was your biggest mistake?
My biggest mistake, I should have I don't know if it would have made that big of a difference. I think I should have been more aggressive in making alliances early on because I was not approaching anyone at all, and that leads to you being left out of these major deals. I also think that if I wanted to play this under the radar game, I shouldn't have been. I should have thrown allies under the bus quicker than I did. I was playing very close to the vest.
So what is your biggest regret of the whole season?
Biggest regret? I wish the one way I think I could have, I needed to throw someone under the bus at that vote. And like, let's say I go back in the past and I need to get myself out of this situation. I needed to either throw Tristan or Michael under the bus in order to survive. But to be honest, I don't think there's that much that I did wrong. There's not much that I did right, but I don't think there was any major mistakes I made. Like, that was awful type thing. I'm sorry.
No, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. So if you could do this all over again, would you do it again?
Yes, and I would probably do poorly again. I'd be the second boot.
Okay, without spoiling anything that happened so far that we haven't seen, I've got 2 questions for you. First, when you walked out of that tribal council, who did you think was going to win the game?
I thought Daniel and Jessica had it. Were
who did you think was going to be the next to be voted out?
I thought for sure Michael.
Have you kept in touch with anyone from your season so far?
Oh yeah, there's several people I keep in contact with. Um, After the game, as far as I know, at least everyone's pretty cool with each other. I don't see any
Oh,
major hard
absolutely.
feelings. Not that.
Even though you told everybody to screw off and you hate them and all of this, as you relieved them. No, I
Hey,
know
they
that was
just
a
voted me
joke.
out. Cry me a river.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Um, if you were to play again with totally different players, would you play the same way or change your strategy? That's from Mr. Corey Altier.
Um, as as far as strategy goes, like I said before, I don't think I could ever play an alpha game. No one's ever going to say, yes, this 16-year-old, let's all gather behind him. He's our mascot. No, that's not going to work. But I do think I could play a better under the radar game than I played.
So
I
you
was
don't
too
ever see you
passive.
doing anything besides under the radar? Like, what about more of a social game? What about more of a? I mean, you can play, you can be weak and still be strong in other aspects.
Um, well, yeah, that's
I'm not
another
beating
good
you up.
point.
Don't feel like I'm beating you up.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no. Um, I would need to be more. Again, I was very passive. I should have been more like doing one-on-one conversations and all of
Mhm.
that. I was just so nervous out there.
Because, I mean, from the beginning, me and Susan watched the episodes together pretty much every week. And episode 1, we kept saying, oh my gosh, we love this Nathan guy. Like, he's hilarious. Like, we want to watch him. We want to see him. And we were both kind of disappointed you were gone tonight. We really thought at one point tonight, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm interviewing Stacy. I'm going to be interviewing Stacy tonight. I'm going to be, and it didn't
When
happen.
Rebecca wakes up and finally sees the episode, she's going to be very disappointed. You were one of her favorite players. And she does live Survivor games, so that's a high compliment.
There was a lot of hashtag Team Gingers. I mean, there really was. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie. It was there. So you're kind of an offbeat, fun character, and that might not be normally. We don't normally see 16-year-old inside gingers come out and play this kind of game. Because, like you said from episode 1, you burn really, really easily, and you don't like the sun. What would be your advice to people that are just watchers and are toying with the idea of playing, but they don't really want to play or they don't think they can do it? What would you say to these people?
I say, if you're a Survivor fan, this is a dream come true. I highly recommend this to anyone. Before I came out, I was nervous about coming. I'm like, if I'm voted out early, I could really regret doing this. I did get voted out early. I don't regret it at all. It was such an amazing experience. Even if you're going to be the first person voted out in 2 seconds, it's completely worth it. You meet so many cool people. Could not recommend it enough.
Awesome. All right, this is how we end the episode. I've got some, unless we get some more questions come up from viewers, I've got some words, names, and people. I want you to tell me the first word that comes to mind when I say these things. Just one word,
Gosh.
whatever comes to mind whenever I say these names. Are we ready?
Oh, yeah.
Chantel.
Funny. Very funny.
Daniel.
Greek god. That's 2 words, but...
Stace. Which Greek god? Because there's several.
I'll message that later. That'll be a secret scene.
Okay, look for on our Reality Rules Twitter. We will reveal later who Nathan said, which Greek god he said that Daniel was. Stacy.
Hippo enthusiast.
Hippo enthusiast.
That's like the best occupation ever, by the way.
Jessica.
Rule follower.
Michael.
Devious.
Amos.
Amazing.
White rice.
The most disgusting thing you've ever eaten in your entire life.
That's a lot more than one word, but we'll go with it. Wrestling on a piece of plywood.
Horrifying.
Tristan.
Very, very kind.
Okay, there's one more thing. I've got to go back to it. I can't believe I didn't bring this up so far. Even though you kind of cheated on my game and used way more than one word.
Oh, yeah.
We'll let it go. We'll let it go. Sleeping in the field in the thunderstorm. Take me back to this moment.
Oh, yes. Okay, out of all the mistakes I made, this was not one of them. This was a mark of pure genius here. Up in our camp, it's a sauna up there because there's so many people. And on top of that, there's every single bug in the entire forest is up there because there's so many people. So I just thought I'd sleep in the middle of the field. It's cool. I slept right next to the water. And on top of that, there was like thunder and lightning, so I got a little light show up there. And it never rained. It was great.
It never rained. So, but I mean, it was loud. But I guess it couldn't have been louder than Stacy snoring.
Fair enough.
So, have you slept in any fields with thunderstorms since your Reelfoot experience?
Sadly, no.
Okay.
I'm open to trying it.
Maybe there needs to be a Reelfoot reunion where you just sleep in a field of thunderstorms.
We'll make it happen.
Awesome. Hey, Nathan, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Is there any last words, anything else you want to say?
I think I'm good. I had a great experience. I loved it.
Good. We thank you for being here tonight, and we will have you back, hopefully, on the reunion episode at the very end of the season. We're going to put everybody in a couple different Google Hangouts, and we're going to interview everybody together and let y'all kind of come back and talk face-to-face, so hopefully we'll have you back then. Again, you were a favorite from the beginning. Hopefully we'll get to do this interview again because you'll play in another live game in the future, and we'll have you. But thank you very much for being here. Susan, anything you got?
Nope, he answered all my questions.
All right. Well, we will be back same time, same place next week with the newest evicted house guest. Maybe Michael, maybe Daniel, maybe somebody like Trevor. I don't know. Nathan knows, but he can't say. So we will see you back here in 1 week. As always, stay real, stay reality, and try not to get voted out.